Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. That's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show.
Oh, here it is. There it is. I found it. The tiny little print at the bottom of the college football playoff that says SEC team has to get in. I found it. It was right here. I missed it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it in the fine print this morning when we were talking about this college playoff that the SEC team has to get in. I missed it. It was so small fine print in the college football guidelines that ACC or SEC team has to get in. So, well, nonetheless, man, welcome to another great episode of the Bodkin Show, baby. I am your host, Bodkins, of course. Man, we have got a packed show today. Of course, it's NFL Week 13 recap, baby. My Packers are getting ready to go up against the Chiefs. I am ready to lose, but nonetheless, I will support my boys as always and drink my sorrows away. So, cheers to that. I don't give us much hope to beat the Chiefs, but I do still smell the playoffs, folks. I'm still smelling the playoffs. And there's going to be a lot of teams smelling the playoffs. Colts, are they smelling the playoffs? Big win today. 7-3, the Colts are. They smelling it. I don't know. One thing's for sure, this man's team's definitely smelling the playoffs as they went into Washington and beat the brakes off of the Commanders. Mr. Yankee Fin, Johnny Cruz.
What's going on,
Johnny,
bud?
what's up, man?
I'm good, man. Yeah, you always got to check for that fine print, bro. There's always something about the SEC. We talked about it a little bit this morning on Thursday. How it just seems like they have to have at least one in. I've been part of the, FSU losing their quarterback. I can understand why the committee would do it. I feel bad for the kids. We talked about it a little bit on our text thread. I feel bad for those FSU kids because they did what they were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? They played their schedule out. They went undefeated. But Alabama, winds up getting in there over them. So I feel bad. I feel bad for the kids, like I said, but it is what it is, man. I think they're gonna be some good games.
It is good matchups, and we'll bring in a guy here, and then we'll get into the NFL stuff here. But our own Hall of Famer, Mr. Scott Cope, whose team's not smelling the playoffs at all. But they got a good-ass defense.
They just smell.
Coach, I'm sorry. You didn't read the fine print at the bottom. It says Alabama gets in because they won the SEC. I'm sorry, Coach. I got to go back.
Hey, you need to get on the phone with Bill Belichick and see if they can find an offense, Scott.
We need to find a coach first that cares because that didn't look like he cared much today.
Hey, they got a defense. I mean, that Bill can always say that. This is the what I read. I sent it in the group chat. This is the third game, the first time since in 46 years that a team has lost by 3 games by 10 points or less, 3 in a row, and that's the Patriots. And they're holding teams. It's not like they're getting blown out. They're holding teams. They just can't score.
Right.
No, and Austin Eckler did nothing today. Keenan Allen, as we said on our show, wasn't going to catch 8 balls. He didn't catch 8 balls today. And Johnny, I hate to promote another show, but everybody needs to watch the late night roundup because I'm sure Rob Logan's going to have plenty to say about this game. Well, I was watching half of it, and then I had to turn it off. It was so bad.
I mentioned this on Twitter to Bo because I said, and we'll talk about I want to get back to the college football game, but real quick to add here, I mentioned this to Bo on Bo Knows Football or Bo Talks Football, friend of the program. And I mentioned this on Twitter. I said, if I am Washington, I fire Ron Rivera today and I get a good, long, hard look at Eric Bieniemy as my head coach. He said Chargers should do the same thing, fire Staley, get a good look at Kellen Moore. I said, why would you want Kellen Moore as your head coach? Because to me, that Chargers offense, since he took over, is worse. Yep. I mean, last year they were really good. Austin Eckler was really good. And I mean, I'm an Austin Eckler fantasy owner. I thought I got a steal with him when I drafted him in 5th overall. I was like, "Ooh, this is a steal. I'll take this." And now I wish I never would have drafted him a day in my life because the guy they don't do it. They don't do anything with him.
I mean, you
And
win.
I blame Kellen more. I blame Kellen.
You win the game today, but it doesn't feel like a win. It certainly doesn't.
No.
It feels far from a
No.
win. You
No
you
touchdowns.
offense-
No
nothing.
touchdown. How do you score 0 touchdown? How in the hell are we in the NFL in 2023 where
And you can't
everything
score
is
one
tailored towards fucking offense and you can't score? Neither team could score a touchdown. You telling me you can't score? You can't just throw a bomb down fourth. You could throw a bomb down at least one time and get close to a pass interference, right? Like that's and then then a couple run plays later or something crazy. You know what I mean? You telling me you can't score? Look like fucking Iowa out there today. Both teams.
Before we get to the college stuff, everybody in New England, you want Bailey Zappi as your quarterback? Here you go. Mac Jones not even dressed today, not even on the sideline, I don't think. Bailey Zappi, you want to get shut out the rest of the year? Play him. He looked awful today. Awful.
Yeah.
Worse than Mac Jones.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the college. This is my thought on the Florida State thing, and I'll tell this to Jim too tomorrow night. We'll talk about it with him. But here's the thing: is everybody said, "Oh, well, it's not about the most 4 deserving teams." I hear that a lot. It's about the 4 best teams right now. Then why the fuck are we playing games in August, September, and October? You should never play a game then because those games don't matter. Just play games in November and pick the 4 best fucking teams after that 1 month. Why do we got a season, folks? Why?
Booger McFarland.
Why do we got a season? Because guess what? We're at the end of the year. We're just going to pick the 4 best fucking teams. Doesn't matter what your record is.
Booger McFarland on ESPN said the same thing. It's a travesty. Florida State's not in. They did everything that they were asked to do. They won every game. They won the ACC championship with a 3rd-string quarterback.
Exactly.
The defense was phenomenal. And you basically say to the kids, sorry, we love Alabama. We love the SEC. They're in.
You know what you're telling me? That's what you know. And they're like, everybody's like, well, they don't want to see. We don't want to see a backup quarterback or a 3rd-string quarterback. You know what you're telling me? No other positions fucking matter outside of your quarterback and what conference you're in. After that, we don't care. You could have had the best defense in the world. You could have had the 85 fucking Bears defense this year. Doesn't fucking matter. You went undefeated, but Alabama's in because you got a 3rd-string fucking quarterback. Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
I'm not gonna front. We've talked about it before. I'm part of the I rather see this than FSU crowd, but I get them. They should have been put in there. You know what I'm saying? They handled their business. They, after thinking about it so much and stuff like that, I mean, they did win the ACC title with their 3rd-string quarterback.
Do I think the matchups are better? I'll agree that the matchups are better. Are these the 4 best teams?
Fair is fair. You know what I'm saying? An undefeated,
but doesn't mean
in a Big 5 conference. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't mean I think that Alabama. I don't think Alabama should be in at all. I still think it's Florida State. If they get their breaks blown off by Michigan, and here's my other option. Here's a little more conspiracy theory, folks. They don't want Jim Harbaugh to win this motherfucker. That's the last person on earth.
That's why Alabama's 4. That's why Alabama was 4
Johnny.
Instead of 3.
Exactly.
They're saying they want to make sure Michigan has the harder.
How can we make this road tougher? Okay,
right.
So let's give them really Alabama. The last month of the season's probably played the best football of all 4 teams.
Yeah.
So if you want to go back to the best 4 teams playing, then Alabama should be ranked number 1 because that's what matters. Not records. Records clearly don't matter. It's about what we see right now. So Alabama should be number 1, even though they almost lost to fucking Auburn, which I hear that all the time too. Well, Florida State they barely beat Miami, or they almost barely beat Florida. Well, fuck. 2 weeks ago, 1 play away. Auburn is 1 play away from fucking beating Alabama. We're not having this discussion. So don't give me that shit either, folks. But anyway, Alabama's played by the looks of just yesterday. Alabama looked like the best team. They don't want Michigan in. They don't want Michigan to win. So what can we do? We'll give them a tough fucking matchup. Now, who's harder? Who's probably going to who's going to outcoach him, outplay him? Alabama. Nick Saban will outcoach Jim Harbaugh with his eyes closed.
We said this morning. The NCAA could go two different routes on this. They can go with putting Florida State in and rewarding Florida State for doing it, or they could go Michigan, Alabama in the Rose Bowl and hype the crap out of that game.
Right.
They went to Michigan, Alabama Rose Bowl route, and they're gonna.
I think it comes down to two. Like I said, they don't want Michigan to. That's the last thing that they want. Is to Jim Harbaugh with all the shit that's happened this year, the 2 suspensions, not one but 2 suspensions.
Yep.
And now he gets. And now
I mean, it almost
if they
makes
play
it
Florida
like,
State, then they're probably favored to win that game easily
by 17 at least. By
Yeah.
17.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like I mean, it's made to be a TV show basically. And so they're thinking about ratings, they're thinking about stuff, the better matchups and stuff like that. Then ultimately, like you said, rewarding a team for going undefeated and winning the title game. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I get that, but at the same time, I understand the thinking as far as like trying to put the best product out there for our, for us. But
we're not a TV show. We're not supposed to be a TV show. That's what I watch wrestling for, Johnny.
Right.
I feel you.
I feel you. You're absolutely right, which is why I'm glad that they decided to expand it. Again, we touched on it a little bit. I would have been happy with 8. I'm going to be ecstatic with 12. Yep. I know people are going to be like, oh, but then we're going to be arguing about the 13, 40, 15. I'm not going to give a shit about the 13, 14, 15 teams.
Yeah, 12 teams.
12 is
I
good.
think 12 is too many. I have always maintained, even with the BCS.
Perfect. 8 would have been perfect.
8 teams. I've maintained that. I said you get, at that time, we had Power 5 school, 5 Power 5 school, all 5, and then you get 3 wild cards.
Right.
And then, and one of those could be an at-large team, the likes of Liberty or somebody like that this year.
The one good thing about the 12 though is like there's no excuses. If you get in and you wind up losing, it's on you.
Yeah.
So they're giving a couple more teams an opportunity to get in the dance and see what happens or whatever. But I mean, we may get a few more blowouts because that 12-1 matchup is going to be ugly probably.
Well, there are 3 teams with a bye. 3 teams with a bye.
Oh, that's how they're doing it.
And then the other 8 are going to play each other. So
yeah.
So what they're going to do is these 4 teams, they put Michigan, Texas, Alabama, Washington, and then they'd have 4 games.
Oh, and then
play out.
Do like a
and then those 4 teams that win the opening round would go on and play one of whichever of those 4 teams.
I got you. That's even better.
Yeah.
Jim Behringer
tweeted even better because you let the 5 through 12 teams fight for the opportunity to move on to the next one. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
So if the 12-team playoff happened this year, this is what it would look like. Michigan, Alabama, Texas, Washington all have a bye. So then Liberty plays Florida State. Missouri would play Oregon. Ole Miss versus Georgia. Penn State versus Ohio State.
I'd want to watch all of those,
except for Penn State, Ohio State, because you already know the outcome.
Yeah, you do, but at the same time, it'll give Penn State an opportunity to possibly get some revenge on them.
Give an opportunity for Franklin to save his job one more year or get fired.
True, but I mean, like the other matchups seem like good matchups, good fun games to watch and stuff like that. So I'm good with the 12, especially like you said, like you guys explained it, with the top 4 teams getting buys and letting the other 8 battle it out. I actually like that a lot. So I'm happier with it now than when I was thinking about it half hour ago even. So I'm good with it, man. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's still better than the BCS or when you know what I'm saying. When teams never played each other, the matchups you really wanted to see, you never really got to see. You know what I'm saying? So at least here it gives, I like the tournament, I like the playoff style. In the end, again, I agree with you completely. I would have been happy with 8, but I like the way they're doing the 12, where the other 4 have the buys and then the other 8 battle. I like that a lot. I'm looking forward to it. So it'll end all this shit to where we're nitpick. Oh no, they deserve to get in. Put them all in there. See what the hell happens.
There'll always be that. There'll always be that. There's no.
And I'm not. And here's the thing. And I'll say this: like, does Alabama got a better shot to win this whole fucking thing than Florida State? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They do.
Right.
Alabama could win this thing.
I get it, bro. It's the principality of it.
Yes,
I get it.
It's just the principle.
Like Big Worm said.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
the principality of it. You'll say they
Yeah,
were
it's
undefeated.
The word of the day
Yeah.
is
Dessert.
principality.
Is Herm Edwards said? Herm Edwards once said, "You play to win the
The
game."
game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Florida State did all that. They did all that, and you're going to keep them out.
That's
You're going to
fair.
keep them.
That's a fair
It basically
argument. I'm
came
with
down-
you on that.
It basically came down Texas, Alabama, Florida State. And what did the committee want to see? They wanted to see Alabama and Texas in it. And they didn't want to see Florida State.
Well, I thought Texas. I've been on this program in the LTS show several weeks now, saying, "Hey, if Alabama beats Georgia, Texas needs to be in."
Yes.
And you guys were saying both Texas and Georgia could be in, or Tanner or somebody. No, not Texas. No, not Texas. He's got a vendetta against Texas.
The last thing I'll say about this is kudos to the committee for one thing. The committee chair came out and said Florida State didn't make it because of the quarterback.
But that's what I don't like, though, Scott. That's what
I don't like it either.
You're telling every other player, all 20 some odd players, the only position we care about,
quarterback,
is your fucking quarterback.
I mean, it's the truth, though. There's no lies being told. There's no lies being told.
But everybody's got injuries, though. So shouldn't you? They're missing their quarterback, and they won 2.5 games with he was out. I get really 3 games because he got hurt in the first quarter of one game. Then they went on to beat Florida, and then they went on to beat Louisville.
Right.
I'm with you, bro.
Right.
I hear
that raises it. Shouldn't that raise it? Hey, they're fucking doing it without their quarterback.
Yes, there's a level of that where you got to give them their props for accomplishing that. But at the same time, I mean, it's just being real. The quarterback position is the, you know what I'm saying? And a situation like Florida State too, where it's not like the rest of the team, you know, like Alabama over the years, they were so dominant on defense and running game that you could kind of interchange the quarterback, or there wasn't so much of a drop off from 1 and 2. Like this kid was their offense, you know what I'm saying? Like he was their offense. He was having a great year, Heisman type year. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I get what the committee's thinking there, but at the same time, I'm with you where it's like, I mean, they handled their business, you know what I'm saying? So they should have gotten in. So
and I agree with Craig.
Craig's right here. And I agree with that. That's why I always say everybody, you know, whenever it's like, well, if their quarterback stays healthy, their quarterback stays healthy. Well, that's fucking every team on any NFL. Anytime somebody steps on the fucking field. Exactly. If your quarterback is hurt, he's the most important position. I understand that it's the most important position really in all the sports. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So Alan says it's kind of like the Big 12 commissioner openly rooting against Texas.
And Alan put a comment up earlier. I don't think the NCAA wants to see Texas Alabama in the championship game. I think that makes the most money. As long as it's not Michigan, they don't care. It could be Washington, Texas, or Washington, Alabama, and they won't care. They just don't want to see Michigan, as Nick said, and I fully agree with. If they want to see Alabama knock Michigan off, and then they don't care if it's Washington, Alabama, or Texas, Alabama. They just don't want Michigan in there because of the look on it.
I agree that they don't. I do think I think more money wise. Again, if you go back to revenue and money wise, and eyes on, more people are going to tune into Texas, Alabama than they probably would any other matchup.
No doubt.
Right, like that, like the Alabama Michigan is going to get more hype than the Washington Texas game.
Even though Washington,
I think the Washington Texas game.
This is how disrespectful people were to Washington. They were 9-point dogs going against a team they already beat. Are you 9 point? It's not like their quarterback was fucking hurt.
Right.
It's not
I was all over Washington on that one, bro.
Yeah, I hammered it home. How do you? I don't know. I said if Oregon wins, they win. Great, but give me +9 with Washington every day of the week.
It's more disrespectful. It opened at 7.5, and then it went to 9.5.
Let me ask you this though: if Oregon beats Washington and they win the Pac-12 or whatever the hell they're in. Their resume are they in over Florida State?
Yes. They probably, No matter what, then how you going to be mad about
Alabama? Johnny, it wouldn't have mattered. The committee came out and said, because Florida State didn't have their starting quarterback, they didn't get in. It wouldn't have mattered. It could have been.
I think maybe Georgia. I don't know. I think just Oregon's record wise, the teams that they had beaten,
Yeah.
And then to get the only loss that to avenge the only loss that they had to Washington would have gotten in. But instead they lost, and now they're playing Liberty in some fucking bowl game that they'll go on and win. I mean, let's get into the NFL. I started the show by shouting out this team, the Colts. The Colts are playoff teams, folks, because if the season ended today, guess what? They're in at 7-5. They go into Tennessee, which I had. I was on. I know Scott and Sam picked the Titans, but I was going with the Colts. 31-28 in overtime. Gardner Minshew, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns. They didn't get a whole lot out of the running game. Zach Moss, 19 carries, 51 yards. Michael Pittman, 11 for 105 and a touchdown. Alec Pierce, 3 for 100 and a touchdown. Sad news here for the key to this game was the 2 blocked punts. Back-to-back punts that the Titans did were blocked. 1 for a touchdown, 1 that led to a field goal, broke the kicker's leg. Will Levis, nice game, 16-33, 224 yards, 1 touchdown. Him and D-Hop had a little kind of back and forth at one point. Derrick Henry, 21 carries, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he left late in that game with a concussion. Tajay Spears filled in nicely, 16 carries, 75 yards. Hopkins, even though him and Levis were kind of arguing, still had 5 receptions for 75 yards and a touchdown. Scott, what's your thoughts here on Colts Titans, and can the Colts make the playoffs?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. Everybody else around them lost today, basically. So they're in a great position now. The only team that didn't lose around them was Houston. So the AFC South could get 3 teams in the playoffs this year.
Who would have thought that? Didn't we say that team with that division was shit?
Yeah.
Now look at them, 3 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs?
I want to say the Colts don't have a tough schedule down the stretch yet. I want to say they have an easier schedule. So
let me look it up.
I was about to say, Nick will look it up.
Today was a thing of the Titans special teams threw up on themselves.
Missed extra point that cost them, would have won the game.
Yeah. Everything wrong and nothing right today. So
yeah, because I mean they ran the ball well with Derrick Henry, up until the injury. I mean, even Spears ran the ball well. Will Levis, I'm saying he had some moments where I'm saying yes, he's a rookie, but some of the throws he made, that touchdown to D-Hop was a beautiful freaking throw. You know what I'm saying? So the kid, there's something there with Will Levis. So shout out to Sam. You know what I'm saying? It looks like if he continues to develop, you got yourself a quarterback. I don't like the way they got conservative in overtime. Once they got into field
goal range.
Yeah, they got into field goal range, and it's just like they were like content with wasting clock and kicking the field goal. And it's like, you know what I'm saying, keep that momentum going. You're at home, you know what I'm saying? Take a strike, you know what I'm saying, at the end zone or something. And they never did that. They were content to just run the ball twice and then, you know what I'm saying, a screen pass. So they were scared to let the kid throw the ball down the field in that crunch time there. So I'll question some of the calls and stuff like that. But at the same time, I mentioned earlier this morning, I was on the Titans as well. So my bad there. And I mentioned, Gardner Minshew had been playing well, but he's due to have a Gardner Minshew game. And, remember that he's Gardner Minshew. He's been balling. You mentioned another 300-yard game today, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers.
That's the important part. No turnovers.
Right. So, I mean, the Colts are finding ways to win games. They did the right thing and signed a really good backup quarterback to back up their rookie. We talked about this before, about all the crazy injuries that are going on in the league to some of the top players. So you got to have depth this year. This year feels so wide open to me as far as, I'm saying, who could make the Super Bowl and who could win the Super Bowl. So, Indianapolis Colts absolutely is talking playoffs. So
yeah, so here's the Colts remaining schedule. So that we got 5 games left. They got the Bengals next week. That's a winnable game.
Yep.
Obviously with no Joe Burrow. Circle this one on the calendar. In 2 weeks, they got the Steelers. Loser of that probably loses out on the playoffs.
Steelers.
And we saw Kenny Pickett go out today. I don't know for how long he'll be out.
What a freaking
Steelers lost today, so we'll get to that. We'll get to them in just a little bit. Then they got the Falcons, another winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They got the Raiders, a winnable game.
Yeah.
Last week of the season, they got the Texans. That could be for seeding in the playoffs, or maybe one of them clinches, depending on what happens.
So they could go 4-1 and 5-0 down the stretch here. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's crazy, dude. It's wild, man. It's one of those.
But they could also go.
I was gonna say they could also go 2-3 and be completely out of it. You know what I'm saying? So
they're one of them teams, much like that we talked with. I talked about the Texans. Me and Johnny talked about the Texans. You just don't know. They're so inexperienced, and I mean Gardner Minshew is a fucking wild card. You just don't. You know what I mean? He's a absolute wild card. Guy is fun to watch, but man, if as a Colts fan, I think he'd give you a heart attack watching.
My fear with Minshew is he's going to have one of those Gardner Minshew 170-yard days and 3 picks.
I honestly thought this was going to be it too. You know what I'm saying? I thought they were going to go into this.
They got the recipe though, and they got a good defense. Even with Jonathan Taylor out, Zach Moss they didn't run much today. Kudos to the Titans defense for stopping them. They're tough against the run. And then they got some weapons. I mean, we all say that who's their weapons, but Alec Pierce is nice. Michael Pittman Jr. is proven to be a true type, number 1 type.
Michael Pittman Jr. We said it on my show Thursday night. He's never talked about one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL, and he just keeps doing it.
Yeah,
he was in.
He's one of those guys.
Los Angeles. Yep, he'd keep doing it.
He's one of those guys where, to me, it's like you always see like a Twitter poll, like who is like production values way up, and then like low, like then the thing is like low as far as like people talking about it. He's very, to me, is on top of that. Mike Evans will always be like there. I don't ever feel like Mike Evans gets enough pub, and we'll talk about it. You don't talk about them in a little bit too, but I mean, Pittman Jr. is just doing it nice, and he's not flashy. He just goes about his business. And a nice game today for him, and good win. This is a good big win for the Colts.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is.
Much needed because those last couple playoff spots, man. There's a lot of. I'm sure that graphic when they put the seedings and in the hunt, there's like 17. There's gonna be like 7 teams that are in the hunt in the AFC, man. It's crazy, bro. It's gonna be a lot of fun down the stretch here with these last 4 or 5 games for people. There's gonna be some separation coming in the next couple of weeks, though. I think. Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, we're into the final stretch of the season here, so
man, it's fun, bro.
It'll be fun. We'll get it. Go ahead, Scott. You got something else to say?
Yeah, by the way, I hate Ben Sims. And if anybody doesn't know who it is, he just scored a touchdown for the Packers. I hate Ben Sims. That should have been AJ. I need 12 points from AJ Dillon tonight to secure a high stakes.
Hey, I don't care who's scoring for the Packers as long as we're fucking scoring, so it doesn't matter.
I'm telling you, bro. Like, okay, go ahead. Go get into the next game, bro.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just, some of these picks, bro, that I'm saying that I was kind of on the fence of. Like I went against my gut on a few of them, and I would have won them and shit. Instead, I tried to like look into them a bit too much and kind of outthought myself of it. And should have just went with my gut, man.
Yeah, Nick doesn't care. He doesn't do any research. He just says, "I like the Packers this week, Packers. I like the Colts this week, Colts."
I do a little. This is what it comes down to. I do a little research, but I don't do a whole lot. I look at 2 things. I try to simplify it, especially when I'm making picks. I look at this. It comes down to coaching and quarterback play. Who got the better quarterback? Yep. Who got the better coach?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Better quarterback.
If one team got both, that's the team I'm probably picking regardless.
Right.
You know what I mean? The reason I picked the Colts is I feel like I just felt like I didn't feel like that it was a pick 'em type game, but I just felt like Gardner and the Colts were kind of moving. They've been playing better. Shane Steichen, I mean, he's been playing. He's proven himself. You know what I mean? So I just felt like,
I mean that's why I honestly lean towards Mike Vrabel on that one. You know what I'm saying? They were at home.
No,
they were undefeated at home. Between him and Levis, I thought that would be. Again, I thought this would be the Gardner Minshew, like you mentioned, Scott, 160 yards, 2 interception ball game. But no, he played well. Pittman played well. I mean, they're playing really good defense.
Yeah,
that Colts team, man, they're gonna be a tough out going down the stretch. And we went over the remainder of their schedule, man. They can make a little run here, bro.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of team that won't make a run is the Jets. And they lost to the Falcons 13-8. Here's a nice stat for you. Shout out my guy, NFL Draft Guy, on Twitter. He tweeted this out, and I shared it with y'all. The Jets have more safeties than in the first quarter than they do touchdowns this year. They have 2 safeties in the first quarter, only 1 offensive touchdown this year in the first quarter for the Jets.
That's an insane stat, bro. It's awesome, but it's crazy, bro. Like
that's how inept the Jets offense is,
dude. There were a couple games again this week that was just like you definitely hitting the under on some of these games, and between that one and the Patriots game, it's like holy shit.
Yeah, this 13 to 8. Desmond Ridder, 12 of 27, 121 yards, 1 touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 18 carries for 53 yards. The lone touchdown in this game was McCoyle Pruitt, 1 reception for 20 yards and a touchdown. I mean, the Jets, Tim Boyle was so bad that the Jets realized, he's not an NFL capable quarterback. Well, I don't know. We already fucking knew that. So, but you're getting paid to know that, and they didn't. So they bench him for Trevor Siemian. Dalvin Cook, 9 carries for 35 yards. Breece Hall, 13 carries for 16. I mean, Garrett Wilson, 3 for 50. They're just awful. The Jets stink.
Do we even need to talk about this game? This game was awesome.
We can move right along.
This was the game to take a nap. Us people in the retirement home, we just put the Jets on and watched Tim Boyle play quarterback. It was like, it's time for a nap.
It was ugly, man. That was an ugly ball game, bro.
Oh my god. The Falcons are going to represent the NFC South in the playoffs. I have a
possibly. It's the Saints lost today, right? So the Falcons.
The Saints lost. The Bucks won, so they're still kind of in it. But
I would pray that the Buccaneers win that division, because if the Falcons win it, Dallas is going to annihilate them in the first round.
I think any one of them is going to get annihilated. To be quite honest, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
I have no confidence Atlanta can do anything.
Right
in the playoff game.
If you go by Nick's, thought process, like what quarterback in that division would you give, the advantage over Dak?
None.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's
and then you get into what quarterback do you give advantage over each other in that division? It's really a coin fucking flip. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Speaking of the aforementioned Saints, this game was so crazy. It looked like the Lions were just going to blow them out. It was 21-0 before you even could sit down and get the potato chips out and realize that you're like, oh man, the Lions are going to roll today. It's 21-0. Saints do a good enough job battling back. Derek Carr gets hurt. They bring in Jameis, and then, Jameis does Jameis things. And Lions win 33-28. You take away the 21 points in the first quarter, Saints win. But they play 4 quarters in all football, folks. So, unfortunately, that didn't happen. So, Jared Goff went 16-25, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 8 for 20. David Montgomery, 18 for 56 and a touchdown. Jameson Williams ran for a touchdown. Sam Laporta, 9 receptions, 140 yards, 1 touchdown. Amon St. Brown, only 2 for 49 and a touchdown. We get to the Saints here. Again, Derek Carr got hurt in this game. 17-22, 226 yards, 1 touchdown. Jameis was only 2 for 5 at 41 yards. Taysom Hill ran in for a touchdown. Alvin Kamara, 14 for 51 and 2 touchdowns. Chris Olave, 5 for 119. So they're finally getting the Olave train going, at least for us fantasy owners. John, you got any thoughts here on Saints Lions?
No, I mean, it was like you said, it looked like Detroit was going to boat race them. The way they came out so fast in that first quarter. I thought this was going to be a 10, 14-point win. For Detroit, that's how dominant they were to start the game off. But credit to New Orleans, they kept fighting. They were at home. Derek Carr before the injury, not too bad. 17-22, 226, a bad interception, but he wasn't playing all that bad. When you got to go from him to Jameis Winston, and then they just, Detroit did what they had to do down the stretch to kind of seal the game up. It turned into a pretty interesting game there towards the end, but Detroit, showed that they were the better team, and they went into New Orleans and they handled their business. That's a game they needed to win after the last couple of weeks, with some of the stuff that Detroit's had to deal with, and not winning, not coming through on Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So they needed this win, and they handled their business. So good for Detroit, 9-3. You know what I'm saying? For the first time in I don't know how long.
1962, I think I read.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long.
I had a friend of mine. He tweeted out. He said the Lions ain't been this good. He's like, ain't had this record since most of them fans wouldn't even been able to sit together at the game. So that's how.
Yeah. So what was the offensive coordinator for Detroit doing today? You get up 21-0, run the ball.
Right.
Instead, you put the ball in Jared Goff's hands and let him keep throwing the ball. Yeah. Come on, you're up 3 touchdowns. That's why New Orleans get back in the game. And two things. That was number one. Number two, when Taysom Hill comes in the game, he's running the ball. He's not throwing the ball. And Detroit still couldn't stop him from running the ball. Right. Every time red zone cut to that game and Taysom Hill was in, it was a run, and he got 5 to 8 yards every time he touched the ball. He ran the ball. Maybe if Derek Carr's out next week, maybe he should be the quarterback. The teams can't stop him.
I mean, the thing about Detroit too is, man, is that offensive line is one of your strongest groups.
Sorry, Johnny.
You said, run the ball, bro. Run the ball.
Yeah,
run the ball. Yeah.
Lions are 9-3 for the first time since 1962, since Scott was in his 30s. So
yeah. And to Carlos's comment, Detroit's defense is not that good. You gave up 28 points to that New Orleans Saints team. Chris Olave just came out back from a concussion, and there's no other receivers on that team, and you still gave up 28 points to that team. I would venture a guess to say Detroit's defense is not.
I don't want Taysom to keep playing. I want Jameis, baby.
Yeah, I do too. I want the Jameis experience.
As a Chris Olave fantasy owner, Jameis is going to look to Olave and throw it, whether there's 5 guys on him, 3 guys on him, 2 guys on him. Hell, he'll throw it, chuck it, risk it. Jameis lives in the Bruce Arians offense in his head. All risk it, no biscuit, baby.
Yeah, I agree. Bobby Lane.
So since they traded Bobby Lane, don't you get time? Yeah. Didn't you go to high school with Bobby Lane? Hey,
no, he graduated 2 years before me, Alan. So
hey, there was in different schools. They were segregated back then, Alan.
They were.
Oh man, that's a long time, bro. That's 60 something years, bro.
Well, when I went to high school, there was no chalkboards. There was only tablets and stuff like that. So
that's how Scott became a Hall of Famer. He was only playing with the whites.
We started, Alan. Thanks a lot.
We kid because we love Scott. You know that.
That's right. That's right. I know.
But no, shout out to Detroit for handling their business, bro.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Dan Campbell. I'm happy for them.
I said this on Thursday. It was a get right game for them, and it was. I mean, they needed to get right after tough. They should have lost to the Bears if the Bears had a half fucking brain. Lost to the Packers on Thanksgiving, and then this was a good get right game to them.
Absolutely. No question.
Let's get into maybe possibly the game of the day, and that was the barn burner in Houston. Houston, it seemed like, had this game rolling a little bit early. Denver makes a comeback in the second half, but Russell Wilson, 3 picks, including 1 in the end zone that would have won it. 15 of 26, 186 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks for Russ. He did run 1 touchdown in. Cortland Sutton, 2 for 77 and a touchdown. Jerry Jeudy, 3 for 51. Javonte Williams, 3 for 46. The most important thing I think that happened in this game is Tank Williams is out for the year, broke his tibia. I mean, that he's been their best outside of CJ Stroud, their second best offensive player. 16 to 27, 274 yards, 1 touchdown for CJ. Dameon Pierce, 15 for 41 and a touchdown. Nico Collins had himself a game, 9 for 191 and 1 touchdown. Scott, what's your thoughts here? As Texans, we've been talking. They're 3 teams in the AFC South, and they could be one of the teams there.
Yeah, that takedown injury is a big time injury for the Texans. He's their number one by far. Him and Nico Collins, 1A, 1B. So if you take one of those away, we'll see how CJ Stroud does now. He loses one of his big time weapons in the passing game. So we'll see how he does. But kudos to the Texans in a game that was basically, I wouldn't say it's an elimination game, but it's a game they needed to have at home. They got it. They got it done. So
yeah, because I mean,
Denver was on the major roll and they basically stymied them today. So
yeah, this is a game that they need to have, especially future reference for tiebreakers and things like that. Like, hey, you know, head-to-head matters when you got a couple teams battling for playoff spots.
Yeah.
It's the injury sucks to Tank Dell. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he gets back better. You know what I'm saying? Better than ever once he gets back next year. We talked about the injuries this year, man. It's insane. He's a stud, bro. He's a good player. The injuries have just gotten everybody, bro. But
yeah, kudos to Stingley though too, because a year ago everybody said that they should have drafted Sauce Gardner, and you know we're kind of down on him, and he's had a really good season this year, and is playing really well. Sauce gets the love from, I think, really just because he's in New York now. He's not getting so much love this year because of, you know, the Jets aren't very good, but you know, kudos to Stingley.
Yeah, absolutely. That whole Houston defense is playing well. D'Amico Ryans has these guys motivated and flying around the field. Will Anderson had a big game today too. The number 3 pick. Everybody talks about CJ Stroud, but Houston was, you know, saying they made a move on draft night, moved back up to get Will Anderson, who was everybody's number 1 defensive player on the board. So you got the good young edge rusher to go with this defense.
D'Amico Ryans is already CJ Stroud's rookie of the year. D'Amico Ryans coach of the year. I don't care what you say. They won 3 fall games. They won 6 games total the last 2 years. And you know, D'Amico's come in and they've changed that culture around.
It's an awesome story. Shout out to the Just Fans guys, Rios. You know, so I'm sure he didn't expect CJ Stroud to be this good, but he did pick his Houston Texans to win the division. We all got on them about being a homer, but they're 7-5 and they got every opportunity to get into the playoffs. You know, Nico Collins, I mean, 9 for 191 and a touchdown was a monster day. I like this Houston team, but at the same time, Denver, like, what the hell, bro? Like, you had a perfect opportunity to try to grab a hold of one of these, you know, last playoff spots. You'd won 5 in a row or something like that.
Won 5 in a row, yeah.
And then you go into Houston,
6 out of the last 7.
Team, you know what I'm saying? The defense kind of gives you an opportunity, and Russell Wilson, you know what I'm saying, 3 interceptions, including a horrible one in the end zone late in that game. Like, he played like crap. You know what I'm saying? But I think it was a missed opportunity by Denver. Shout out to Houston for handling their business at home and go on to next week to see what happens. But I thought Denver had an opportunity to make a late push here. I think it is sort of an elimination game, Scott, to be quite honest. There's so many teams that are all packed together. These tiebreakers and all that shit are big. You know what I'm saying? So losing a conference game like that to Houston was a big loss today. And they had opportunities to win this game.
Here's what I will say about this. Here's the deal. You have teams around you, Pittsburgh. If Pickett's out for 2 or 3 weeks, I have no faith in Trubisky that he can win a game for the Steelers. That's number 1.
Who do you trust more, the Broncos or the Colts? Because, you know,
I trust the Colts more. I trust the Colts more. I think I think the infusion of Gardner Minshew into that offense, because Richardson is out for the year, has given them a lift, because Minshew now has been able to make Michael Pittman into the receiver that we all knew he was going to be.
So the Broncos got a pretty easy schedule ahead. They play the Chargers twice.
Yep.
And then they got the Raiders, Patriots, Detroit. So
but Houston doesn't have a tough schedule either. Houston doesn't have a tough schedule either.
No.
Houston's done with Jacksonville for the year. So now
I'm saying these head-to-head matchups are going to go. You know what I'm saying they're going to mean a lot, man. With these tiebreakers, you may have 4 or 5 teams with 10 wins. You know what I'm saying? So a couple of those won't make the playoff. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be wild to see how
it could, like we talked about earlier with the Colts. That Texans Colts game could come down to, you know, the playoff spot.
That's awesome though, for it to come down to the last couple weeks of the season for
who would have thought the Broncos? You know what I mean? I know they lost this game. So the Texans going forward, they got the Jets winnable game, the Titans winnable game. The Browns, I think, is a winnable game. They lost today.
Yeah, especially with Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Then they got the Titans again. We just a winnable game. Then they got the Colts. Like,
it could be. It could be for what I'm saying. Maybe not the division because Jacksonville is a couple games ahead, but that could be battling for that last playoff spot.
No, 2 wild card. 2 spots there. Yeah.
Because Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's about to fall off a cliff. I mean, I wasn't all that excited about Kenny
I feel like I was thinking about this as I was watching their game today. I was like, eventually they got to medal out, right? Like they can't keep giving up. They can't keep getting outscored in yards. Like they've been outscored. I think what was that stat a couple weeks ago? Like they'd been outscored like in nine of their games, and it was like week 11 or something like that. Yeah. And it's just like,
I mean, and then with this OC change,
touchdown, baby, up 14-3. Fuck.
Yes. Everybody got excited about they had 400 yards of offense last week.
They didn't score.
That's why we needed to get rid of the coach. But exactly, they didn't score any points. They scored 16 points last week.
Yeah,
against a really
Cincinnati defense.
Cincinnati team. So this was another one that I so wanted to jump on Arizona because I thought that Pitt defense would have an issue with Kyler Murray, but no, I went against my gut and went with Pittsburgh, and they lost outright, man.
Nick, is there something going on tonight? Is there some game going on that we don't know about?
I don't know I don't know what they got going on in Green Bay. Maybe because they know they got the ultimate hater in Tanner fucking Dawson in the stadium, and they're sticking it to Tanner one more fucking time, baby. I love it.
Let's now cut to Tanner Dawson live at Lambeau Field in Green Bay for a report.
Hey, if you don't think I'm not going to call Tanner when this game is over, if we win, by God, you know what I mean?
Tanner's going to look at his phone and go, "Oh, jeez."
He's probably just going to hit delete. It's not. He's not going
to. He's pissed off right now.
Oh, he is.
And granted, with Kansas City, you never know. You know what I'm saying? Like they were down 14-0 to the Raiders last week. So they can come back quick. I mean, there's still a lot of football, but if they can't slow down Green Bay, that's going to be a problem, bro.
We're going to have some questions about Kansas City.
That's going to be a problem for Kansas City, boy.
Yeah.
Even though I picked Kansas City, I will not be mad if the Packers knock them off for my Dolphins playoff seedings. I'll take Kansas City taking an L. That'll be good.
I want to get back to this playoff spot right now, real quick. So there's 7 teams in. So right now, Pittsburgh at 7-5, Cleveland at 7-5. Houston is outside at 7-5. Denver 6-6. Buffalo 6-6. So, I think Pittsburgh and Cleveland are the arrow is pointing down.
They're gonna fade out.
But I still think Denver and Colts
and the Bills.
Even
Buffalo. Dude, I know that they haven't been playing well and whatever, but I'm just saying they're still in it. They're 6-6.
If Buffalo goes into Kansas City next week and beats the Chiefs, you got to look at them as a playoff team.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
And that's a number 7 seed that nobody's going to want to play, bro.
And Kansas City might get them in the first round, and they do their offensive problems. Yeah. They don't want to see them.
First round. We'll see. Yeah, Johnny, if the Chiefs lose tonight, your fans
They dropped to the 3.
Are number 1.
Yeah.
And then
Baltimore's 2. Miami's 1 in the case.
Yeah, because conference-wise, the Baltimore has 3 losses. Dolphins would have 2 losses.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Johnny, you're a bigger Packers fan tonight than me.
I'm telling you, I should have went with my gut too. I should have picked this game.
Let's get into the next game that we probably don't need to spend a lot of time on, and that's the Chargers winning. We kind of mentioned it, 6-0.
I'll be right back. I have to go.
There's nothing to even fantasy-wise to talk about. I mean, Keenan Allen 5 for 58. There's nothing. We already talked about pretty much this. Both these teams stink. But Scott, you want to add anything about how bad the Patriots are?
Yeah, we were chiming home at the Patriots game on today, and we all fell asleep watching it in the second quarter. So, because nobody could score. What the heck is going on with Justin Herbert? I have no idea what's going on with that offense. That offense is so bad right now. It's broken. It's completely broken.
Well, that's why I said Well, is it? Staley and Kellen Moore. Like it's both.
Yeah, combination. They need to. Yeah. They need to say to both of them, "See you later at the end of the season. We'll go a different direction." I know Kellen Moore just got hired by the Chargers, but he's not doing anything offensively that would make me believe that they're going to be good offensively.
The crazy thing about it too is that there was so much hype for Kellen Moore coming in as the OC. Oh, we're going to unleash Justin Herbert. What happened? You know what I'm saying? Like this offense was worse than it did last season.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I don't like the direction. Sure, a win is a win is a win. Announcement, show announcement real quick. Rob is not going to be on the show tonight. So it'll just be me and Alan. So Rob won't have to talk about. You don't need to tune in, folks. He won't. Yeah, he won't have to.
Johnny,
he won't have to worry about talking about his Chargers.
He drove to the bridge and he's looking over the railing at the water, saying, "Do I need to jump now or do I need to wait?"
Don't do it, Rob. Don't do it.
I think he's still sleeping from watching the game, bro. So he said he's just gonna go ahead and stay in bed. So Alan and I will be holding it down. So definitely check that out after this.
Carlos said
we'll be breaking down a possible upset of the Kansas City Chiefs by the Packers. So me and Alan will hold it down after this game here.
Greg said the same thing with the Dallas offense this year versus Chargers. Maybe
there's nothing for the Chargers. I mean, there's nothing else to say. The Patriots are garbage. The Chargers suck. Both franchises are probably going to fire a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. That I do. Scott, Williams kid that you're saying that the Chargers drafted, like he hasn't done shit. You're saying Quentin Williams,
Quentin Johnson, Quentin Johnson, Quentin Williams.
Yeah, I don't know. You're saying I don't know what's going on with the Chargers, the Patriots. It's crazy that they're 2-10.
Well, there's a stat that'll scare you. Patrick Mahomes is 15-11 when his team trails by 10 points or more. So, I mean, only quarterback in history where his team has a fucking winning record. That's insane.
That's what I'm saying.
They're never out.
He's ridiculous. That's what. Right. Yeah. That's exactly what he is. You always have a chance as long as he's on the field, bro. That's the.
Let me ask you this, Scott, before we get on. Is this in? And I know we kid about your age, but is this the worst Patriots team you've lived through some bad times? At least in the last 30 years, it's got to be.
Oh no, the early 90s was really worse. I mean, yeah, this is one of them. It's up there, but it's not.
It's kind of. Obviously, we know that this is Bill's worst team. We know that.
This is Bill's worst team by far with New England. Yeah, and you could ask Keith. There were years we were 1-15 with Rod Rust as the head coach and Dick McPherson and all them. So it's
I kind of remember. So I remember the Bill Parcells years when you guys went to the playoff Super Bowl against the Packers, and then he left. Pete Carroll came in.
Yep.
And there were some decent years even there, and then he got fired, and then you guys brought Bill. And that's kind of where my football knowledge kind of begins with the Patriots, at least.
I mean, they go up against any team. Like, they're playing the Chiefs in a couple weeks. There's no hope.
Yeah.
Zero.
Well, they flexed that game out of Monday Night Football. At least they said, "Hey, we're not gonna." The NFL's like, "Hey, we're not gonna
make you have to watch this."
Yeah, we're not gonna make the world watch a fucking, murder. Yeah.
And that's pretty bad when they flex,
Monday Night Football.
Patrick Mahomes off of there.
And I'll tell you this, people, the Chargers defense is terrible. Number one, they've been giving it up all year long. Yep. And people are clamoring for Bailey Zappi, and this is what you get. You get what you want, and you got nothing. And Mac Jones was not even dressed today. He was not even active today.
They don't have an NFL starting quarterback on their roster. They don't have
They do not.
But at the very least, it's I don't want to hear that. He gives us the best chance to win. Y'all suck. Y'all not going nowhere. Y'all not doing nothing. Why not just stick with the kid?
Lose the game. Just lose the rest of the games.
You completely destroyed this kid's confidence now. So they have no choice but to move on from Mac Jones.
Well, they can't go back to him. You can't go back.
No, you can't.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They never should have took him out. Let him take his bumps. He'll be all right. But
they stay. Welcome let's get into Vegas, Mac Jones. You're the new Raiders quarterback next year.
Let's get into
McDaniels ain't there, so it probably won't happen then.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
We got Kyler Murray and the Cardinals get their third win of the year, 24-10 over the Steelers. Kyler was 13-23, 145 yards, 1 touchdown. James Conner, 25 for 105 and 2 touchdowns. Trey McBride, man, 8 for 89 and a touchdown. that was pretty much it for the receiving wise. We get to the Steelers here. Mitch, again, Kenny Pickett got hurt. He was 7 of 10 for 70 yards. Mitch Trubisky was 11 of 17, 117 yards and a touchdown. Najee, 16 carries for 63 yards. George Pickens, 4 for 86. Deontay Johnson, 4 for 33 in the lone tud for the Steelers. Johnny, you got any thoughts here on Cardinals Steelers?
No, I mean this was another one of those where I was feeling Arizona for some reason. I thought Kyler Murray would be a hard matchup for that Pittsburgh defense, but that Pittsburgh offense is just hot garbage. We touched on it a little bit, talking a few minutes ago. There was so much, hype or whatever about Canada getting fired and this offense scoring, having 400 yards last week. They still couldn't score shit. And then this week they lay an absolute egg at home with an opportunity against a 2-win team. And Pittsburgh never had a chance, really, it felt like, in this game. I know they had those couple weather delays that stretched out the game even more, but like towards the end of that game in that fourth quarter, they literally ran the ball down the Pittsburgh defense's throat, bro. They had no chance of stopping that Arizona offensive line and a running game in that fourth quarter. That was a pitiful performance, man. I mean, yeah, they're 7-5, but I don't see Pittsburgh winning that many more games the rest of the season. I think them and Cleveland are both going to wind up going downhill from here. So that's what I'm saying. Those last couple playoff spots are going to be wide open, but this was the only good thing about this is the third week in a row that I've hit with the under involving Pittsburgh. So thank you for that, Pitt. I appreciate it.
Yeah, they are the Iowa Hawkeyes, the NFL. Really good defense and just can't score. But the thing it is, they got so much damn talent on their offense.
Right. That's the crazy part. Is you got some skill weapons out there, but they can't get them to rock. They can't get them to rock.
We've been talking the Steelers real quick before Scott goes. Their schedule. So they got a easy match. They got the Patriots on Thursday. That should be a winnable game no matter who. Right now they're 6-point favorites. Then they got the Colts. We talked about tough matchup. They got the Bengals, which is a game that they just team they just beat. Then they got the Seahawks and Ravens to end the year.
1-4. 1-4.
Yeah,
maybe 2-2. I think they could beat the Bengals. So you know what I mean. They beat
that's the one win.
Patriots.
That's the one win. 2. Yeah, 2-3. 2-3, which only gets
so that's 9 wins. That's only 9 wins. That's what I'm saying. We talked a few minutes ago that there may be 4 or 5 teams with 10 wins, and a couple of them may sit out. So 9 definitely is not going to do it. So I didn't have much confidence in Pittsburgh when they had Kenny Pickett. Now you put Mitchell Trubisky back there. Oof. Like I don't know, man.
Are we at the point now where we're saying Kenny Pickett's a bust? I'm beginning to feel that.
He needs to stay healthy. One.
Yeah.
They won't let him throw the ball down the field. He 7 of 10 for 70 yards before he gets hurt today. That's 7 yards an attempt. Yeah. Basically, that's not down the field. That's basically just past screen game yardage.
And like Nick mentioned, they have weapons, bro. Pickens is a stud.
Deontay Johnson
is a good player. Yeah. You got
Jalen Warren.
Right. Jalen Warren. You got Najee back there. Freiermuth is a good tight end.
Craig called it James Conner revenge game there for James.
It was.
He literally ran the ball down their throat in that fourth quarter, man. They could not stop him in that fourth quarter.
For the Steelers to play a team in the Cardinals who gave it up to the Rams last week, and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua did nothing in that game. To at home to have the Cardinals and to throw up down your leg like they did leads me to believe that the Steelers, as Johnny said, are in the downside of this season right now. They're about ready to go down.
I think they're trending down. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. So.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the next game. Johnny's Dolphins absolutely roll 45-15 over the Commanders. Tua, 18 at 24, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devon Achane, 17 for 73 and 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert, 11 for 43 and a touchdown. Tyreek, I don't care. There's no runaway MVP. Why not Tyreek Hill? 5 for 157 and 2 touchdowns. To me, he's the MVP, folks. Jalen Waddle, 5 for 52. And then you get to the Commanders. Sam Howell, 12 of 23, 127 yards. Nothing in the running game. Curtis Samuel 4 for 65. There was no catches for Terry McLaurin, held out 0 catches his first time in his career. Johan Dotson 2 for 23. Johnny, we'll start with you. How good do you feel about the Dolphins just walking into the Commanders and just laying the thumping down?
I mean, once again, the Dolphins are handling their business. They're beating the teams that are in front of them. And not only that, but they're stomping out these bad teams. You know what I'm saying? These so-called bad teams that they feast on. So, I mean, this game was never in doubt. They came at him fast. Tyreek, how you have man coverage on Tyreek Hill, I still don't understand that, people. But Washington tried it a couple times, and, a couple times that they did it, they got burnt. I wish Tua could have thrown for one more freaking yard, but I digress on that one. I'm going to learn my lesson sooner or later to just stop putting money on my team. But completely dominated by the Dolphins. This is one of those, you worry, are they going to stub their toe, you know what I'm saying, before they get to that stretch where they have Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo. But if Miami keeps handling their business, I mentioned it before the season started that I would put the Dolphins' talent up against any team in the league. And if they can keep Tua healthy, we have a chance to win a lot of games. We're 9-3 in the number 1 seed for the moment. That could always change in a couple days or whatever.
Going to be dependent on the Chiefs game, really. I mean, if the Chiefs win or lose here,
right? So I'm completely happy where they are. The Devon Achane looked good. He's coming back from his injury. He ran the ball well. Raheem Mostert, we ran the ball really well today. And we ran it up the middle a lot too against those 2 stud defensive tackles on Washington. But as far as that Washington secondary, they had no shot today at all. So Dolphins did what they had to do. They handled their business and blew them out. And on to next Monday night against Sam's Tennessee Titans. So I'm happy with the way that they're playing the defense. We got another injury, which sucks. Jerome Baker, our middle linebacker, looks like he, has a knee issue. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Van Ginkel, though, stepped up for the Jalen Phillips, who was injured. He had a pick 6 and 6 tackles, played well. But I'm with you as far as the tire. I mean, I still can't believe that he's on my team sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But he's a phenomenal football player. He's so much fun to watch. And yeah, I'm with you. If they get the number 1 seed, unless Tua blows up and throws for 20 touchdowns over these last 5 games, I don't see how you don't give it to Tyreek. I mean, Tyreek can get 2,000 before week 17.
So Craig's saying they're 2 to 4 weeks for Kenny Pickett. He's out. Craig, can you does anybody know what was the final? Well, I didn't hear what his injury was.
They said an ankle during the game. I heard.
Okay.
So
Craig's saying he's out for 2 to 4 weeks is what he's saying.
Ankle sprain, probably, maybe.
So Alan's saying Hill plus 1,800 for MVP.
Yeah, dude.
Take that bet. Put money on that.
That's not a bad one right there.
Because we'll get to them. We'll get the MVP talk when we get to the Eagles game. But Tyreek by far is the best wide receiver in the NFL. It's not even close. Even close. And
if you were reback, this season now, in fantasy, you're taking him number 1.
Number 1 next year. If I get the number 1 pick in any draft, it's Tyreek or McCaffrey. McCaffrey's had a really good season too. But Tyreek. The Dolphins will not stop throwing in games, except for the second half of today. That's why Johnny.
Johnny, I'm rooting for your Dolphins, and not just because of you, but that team is so. I like McDaniel as a coach. The things that they do, and I know I make fun of you because they're the Froffins and they're fraudulent and they haven't beat nobody yet, but secretly I'm rooting for them because the things that they do is just incredible to me. They're so fast, so good, but then they just have these games where they play really good teams, and it's just Tua doesn't play great, this happened. Something happens, you know what I mean? Right. But man, they're beating the teams of the likes of the Commanders.
Right. They're definitely a fun team to watch. Like I said, I know Bobby with his comment here. Saying beating who was in front of us is Cosby for we're out in the first round. Let's see about that. That's saying. Years past, sure. I would expect the Dolphins. But this team is a different team. This team is a talented team. Again, they lost to the defending Super Bowl champs in Germany. You know what I'm saying? In a close game that they lost at the end. Yeah, they
Hey,
went up to the
Carlos
NFC champs.
Is right.
And and fought with Philly until the end, where Philly went up by 2, and then they got stomped in week 4 by their arch rivals, the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. So they lost 3 tough games to 3 really good teams. But again, they haven't had that stumble like other teams had against teams that they should beat. You know what I'm saying? Miami has beaten every team that they're supposed to beat, whereas other teams have stumbled a little bit. So we're 9-3. Everything is in front of Miami, and we said earlier, like this season, it just seems wide open for anybody to go on a run. You know what I'm saying?
To me, Carlos is right here. McDaniel does the best job of playing the strengths to his team.
Absolutely.
What does this guy do well? You know what I mean?
I love that. I've loved him from day one. His personality, exactly that. His coaching style is that to build things around what you have there and the players that you have.
What do you do really well? Yeah. Oh, right. You do really well. Okay, we're going to play to your strengths, and that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
What can this guy do well?
He's got the nice relationship with the players. Players want to play for him. They want to play hard for him. So, yeah, man, I'm happy with what's going on in Miami right now. Like I said, we'll see what happens come playoff time. But the Dolphins have an opportunity to have a path go to the Super Bowl through Miami, and that would be insane, bro. I never got to see that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real. You know what I'm saying? I had Dan's couple years when I started getting into football, whatever, but it was after the
we just show Taylor Swift about time they show Simone Biles on this damn TV. That's the real person right there.
So I didn't get to enjoy
real shit in her life.
I had heartbreak every year because the Buffalo Bills, Jim Kelly and them would always knock off the Dolphins, so I never got to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm excited.
Then you had to live the Tom Brady era after that.
Right, and then I had to deal with 20 years of New England just, you know what I'm saying, stomping us out every year. That nah, man, this is fun. They're a fun team to watch, man. You talk about the speed and stuff like that. I like
they remind me of the greatest show on turf with like Kurt Warner and Isaac Hakeem and Isaac Bruce, Torrey, that's
Marshall Faulk and them.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
they're
fun to watch. They're fun to watch.
I will say this: Waddle had a great first half. He had a nothing second half today. I will say this: what Tyreek and Waddle do for that running game for Miami cannot be measured. Because teams can't stack the box. They've got to cover Tyreek and Waddle. Chan gets off. Mostert has had a great year because of that fact. So if you play the Dolphins, it's okay. We're going to stop Tyreek and Waddle. The running game's going to be great. Okay, we're gonna try to stop the running game. Tyreek's going to go for 200 yards. So the Dolphins have everything covered right now in terms of what a defense does against them. McDaniel says, okay, you want to take Tyreek away? I'll throw the ball to Waddle. I'll throw the ball to Smythe. I'll run with Wilson and Mostert and Achane out of the back. He's got everything he needs at his disposal, and it's great. Watching Miami play a football game is phenomenally enjoyable. So
yeah, they are. You're right, Scott. They're enjoyable. They're fun to watch. I'm rooting for them. The first team, we've been talking a lot about playoffs. Well, the first team eliminated from the playoffs, that was the Carolina Panthers today. As they lose 18-21 to the Bucks. What was the spread of that game? Because I picked the Panthers with the points. So
5.5. Tampa was
5. You got it.
They covered, baby.
Yeah,
they covered.
Yep, they covered.
Fuck yeah, suck it, Trebek. Oh, shit, that's not A.J. Dillon, though, Scott. That was fucking Taylor for a big run. We get into it. Bryce Young, 15-31, 178 yards, 1 interception. Chuba Hubbard, 25 carries, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hey, folks, you might as well just tell Miles Sanders, see you later if you got him on your fantasy team.
Jonathan paycheck, buddy.
Yeah, Jonathan Mingo, 6 for 69. Maybe he's going to be the new guy, not Adam Thielen. So, which I'll be okay. I just picked him up on waivers. Baker Mayfield, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Rashad White, 20 for 84 yards, 1 touchdown. Chris Godwin ran for 1 touchdown with 1 carry for 19 yards. Mike Evans continues to just fucking absolutely ball the fuck out. 7 receptions, 162 yards, 1 touchdown, which got him to 1,000 yards receiving for the 10th time in his career. He's been in the league for 10 years. Just go ahead and make this guy a Hall of Famer today. Johnny, you got any thoughts here on, Bucks Panthers, and the Panthers being the first team eliminated in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty much a no-brainer there. As far as the Bucks, I mean, they got the win, so you got to be happy about it. Shout out to Mike Evans, one of the more underrated players. I mean, he never gets talked about really when they talk about the top wide receivers in the league, and he just, like you mentioned, just continues to put up 1,000-yard seasons every year. It doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball. But Tampa Bay should have completely stomped out the Panthers here, and they just I don't trust the Bucks at all. I don't trust anybody from that South, to be completely honest. I mean, between them, Atlanta, New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just hot garbage down there in the South of the NFC. So, big win for the Bucks, you know what I'm saying, to get to 5-7 and to still be in it. But this Bucks team is not very good. Baker Mayfield may be one and done in Tampa, and Mike Evans might want to get up out of there, you know what I'm saying, while he still has some years left.
Yeah, while he's got a little bit of juice left in the tank. He's going to be a free agent. I mean, if I'm a Super Bowl contending team, I'm calling Mike Evans and bringing him in because he still got it.
Yeah, he does.
Scott, you got anything to add here?
Kansas City. Hello, Mike Evans. Do you want to come to Kansas City?
Play with Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, it is just this guy does it time in, time out, game in, game out.
And with every fucking quarterback you could possibly. I mean, he had 2 years with Tom Brady, but other than that, it's the likes of Mike Glennon. Was Freeman there when he was there? I can't remember.
Yeah, Freeman, Jameis. He did it with Jameis.
Freeman. Mike Glennon. Like, you fucking name it.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter who.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like,
I want to say we mentioned this a week or two ago that Mike Evans is the reason why Johnny Manziel got drafted. You know what I'm saying? If you look back at it now, you know what I'm saying, to be completely honest, but he's a stud. Not for nothing, bro, but he would look pretty good in green and gold, bro, up in Milwaukee. Just saying. Just saying.
We don't play Milwaukee.
Whatever.
Everybody
whatever.
Everybody
Mike Evans next to all those young speedsters.
I'm getting a hard time thinking about it.
For everybody that said the reason Mike Evans was so good was because of Tom Brady, y'all can suck it.
Y'all forgot. They forgot. They must have forgot. That's the thing.
You all could. It doesn't matter who's his quarterback. He's going to.
I just think he doesn't get a lot of love. Because he's not flamboyant, right? Like, he's never. Right. You never see him in altercation with anybody. He's not that, the quote unquote diva wide receiver, right? Just fucking, he goes about his business.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was
in my business.
So get this. And first of all, kudos to Tanner on the Sam Laporta call, because he was right on, spot on with them from day one.
Absolutely.
Number two, high stakes fantasy players are supposed to be the smartest guys. I have Mike Evans on every high stakes fantasy team, and I got him in the 7th and 8th rounds of drafts in fantasy. And he's performed like a 3rd rounder this year. So he's so underrated, and people just forget about him. They just forget about him. If he goes to Green Bay, Kansas City, he's not going to go to Miami, but Miami with the team and a system like that, no telling.
I know this team. What about Houston?
Yeah, that's another one.
He played at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I mean, you put him
Dallas?
with Tank, Nico.
Dallas,
man. Nobody wants to deal with Jerry Jones, man. If you're a free agent, though, wide receiver like Mike Evans, you taking Houston or you taking Dallas? I think I'm going to Houston, bro.
The
younger team, I think CJ has more upside. I mean, Dak Prescott, we know who he is already. You know what I'm saying?
You want to look at,
you put him with Tank, Nico Collins, and that team. That would be scary, bro. That'd be scary.
Exactly. If you have Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Mike Evans, along with Dalton Schultz, who's performed this year really well, they'll win the AFC South next year with those guys.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, we'll see. That'll be interesting to see what he does. We'll get into. We got 2 more games to get into real quick. We got the Browns at the Rams. Rams win 36-19. We mentioned Joe Flacco is starting for the Browns. right off the couch, 23 of 44, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They didn't get anything in the running game. Kareem Hunt only 12 carries for 48 yards. Elijah Moore 4 for 83. Amari 3 for 34. Then we get to the Rams. Matthew Stafford 22 of 37, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams continues to impress. 21 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Puka Nacua 4 for 105 and a touchdown. Cooper had 6 for 39 and a touchdown. Demarcus Robinson 4 for 55 and a touchdown. This Rams team's right in the thick of things at 6-6. Scott, are we smelling playoffs for the Rams here?
They're going to overtake the Seahawks for second place in the West. The Seahawks are going to lose the next 2 games. 49ers, Eagles. No chance.
Rams are
one of those teams.
Rams are
going to be a wild card. They're going to be a wild card. They're going to be the 6 or 7 seed for sure. Because Dallas.
Yeah, I mean Minnesota is.
They're on the downslide too. Minnesota.
Yeah,
they don't even know who their quarterback is next week.
Minnesota's currently 6-6. Rams are 6-6. Seattle 6-6. Maybe Green Bay could be, if they win today, they'd be 6-6. I think Minnesota is trending down. Seattle trending down. Rams have kind of been middle. Let's look at the rest of their schedule the rest of the way. Pretty favorable after next week. They got the Ravens. I expect them to lose that game. After that, it's the Commanders, the Saints, the Giants. They do got the 49ers last week of the season, so that would be 49ers probably trying to clinch that number 1 seed, so that would be a tough one. So
3-2 at worst.
Yeah, 3-2. Yeah, 3-2 and best probably.
3-2. Because Washington maybe maybe have an interim head coach by that time. New Orleans, who knows what New Orleans is going to be? And you said the Giants?
The Giants.
Tommy DeVito led Giants. Who knows if Saquon's sitting the rest of the year at that point? So
yeah,
they could be 9-8, get you in the NFC, not the AFC, but the NFC for sure. So
yeah, I mean that's honestly why I picked them today. We talked about it this morning. I thought the Rams had a lot to play for. You're saying they have the championship pedigree. They still have Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford when he's healthy, and Puka came out of nowhere. Cooper Kupp is healthy again. That Rams team, are they a great team? No. But in the NFC, 9-8 might do it. 9 wins may be all they need to get into the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see with that log jam for those last couple spots, man. But again, this season just feels so wide open to me, bro. That it's just I can't wait, man. I'm having a lot of fun.
Hey,
What's up?
But make no mistake about it. They're 1 and done in the playoffs because they're either getting Detroit or San Francisco in the first round, and that's a no-go.
Yeah.
So,
they better hope it's Detroit.
Yeah, let's get into the last. Oh man, how would that be? Matthew Stafford and versus the Lions.
Detroit playoffs. Absolutely.
Hey, sign me up. That's spicy.
Talk about poetry. Yep. That'd be a good one. Bro.
Yeah.
I like it
what if
too.
Stafford sticks it to Detroit one last time?
Yep.
Oh man,
that would be so messed up.
Oh, I hope that happens. Let's get into it. 49ers, Eagles. I mean, we thought this was going to be the game of the day. I told Scott, hey, I would have took the under. Shit, the 49ers covered the over by them fucking selves. Right. I just thought it'd be a low-scoring, tight game. Nah, the 49ers went into Philadelphia and smacked them right in the fucking mouth. And it was 42-19. Brock Purdy, 19-27, 314 yards. Not 1, not 2, but 3, but 4 fucking touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, 17 for 93 yards and a touchdown. Debo, 3 for 22 and a touchdown. Debo also caught 2 touchdowns. George Kittle, 4 for 68. Brandon Ayuk, 5 for 46 and a touchdown. Juwan Winnings, touchdown. I mean, they had 6 drives, 6 straight touchdowns at one point in this fucking game, folks. I mean, hey, if there was a team to stamp who's the best team in the NFL right now at week 13, go ahead and we can all say it's the San Francisco fucking 49ers. Jalen Hurts, 26 of 45 and a touchdown. He left the game for a bit with a concussion, did come back. 17 carries, 20 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 18 for 114. Devontae Smith had 9 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown. So Johnny, thoughts here on the ass whooping the 49ers give the Eagles?
I mean, talk about a statement. There was so much chirping going on between, both of these franchises after last year's.
Hey, remember last year when
championship
everybody
game?
said it wouldn't have mattered who the quarterback was? The Eagles fans were saying that. I don't know. Fucking try to convince me today that.
Right. It was ugly weather to start the game off. It was just bad for Philly from jump. They had their first two opportunities to go put some points on the board. They come up with 2 field goals. San Francisco gets 2 touchdowns, and then they just pretty much never looked back.
After the first quarter, the Eagles forgot that there was. I mean, Carlos said it. They forgot there was 4 quarters. They played really one good first quarter. So
get off of that, Allen.
Yeah,
there's no way Philly is overlooking San Francisco.
Yes, that's their
Dallas,
their.
Bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They just got their ass beat. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of those.
Yeah, even the security guy got smacked in the mouth, and he got taken.
You know what? Sometimes good teams lose to other good teams. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I don't stress everybody talking about the Dolphins being fraudulent. This shit happens. You know what I'm saying? But San Francisco made a statement. Brock Purdy balled out, like you said, bro. Debo was Deboing people out there. They were a more physical team. They took it to Philly. And Philly really had no shot in this, bro. They looked overwhelmed there for a minute, man. San Francisco just put it on them. Christian McCaffrey is a freaking beast. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see who gets that. I mean, they still have a game up on San Francisco, as far as in the loss column, 3-2. But now San Francisco has that head-to-head, so that battle against Dallas is gonna be even that much bigger now. But there's no way that I see that Philly was overlooking San Francisco because of Dallas. Nah.
No,
they were playing each other in the NFC title game, and like I said, there was so much shit talk going back and forth from those teams. There's no way that they were overlooking them. They just got stomped out, bro. A team just came in and just punched them in the mouth, and that was it.
Here's the reason why Philadelphia lost the game today. They played 3 games in 13 days. Number one, number
really
2,
good
they played really good teams. Their schedule's been a gauntlet. Number 2, they just played 92 defensive snaps against Buffalo last week. That defense was tired, and it showed today. So they're not looking ahead to Dallas past San Francisco.
It would have been different if the 49ers weren't such a physical team, but the 49ers are probably the most physical team in all football.
Right. If the Eagles beat the 49ers today, they'd have put a coffin in the NFC, and they would be the number 1 seed. Yeah. Because they have the tiebreakers, and they're so far ahead of everybody else, they would be the number 1 seed. They would have clinched it today. Yeah. But now the caveat, everybody, all you're going to hear all week is they were looking ahead to Dallas. They were not looking past
I think you're going to hear the 49ers are the best fucking team in football. That's what I think.
Yeah. More than likely, you are going to hear that. And after today, how can you not say that? How can you not say that? So they play again in the NFC Championship game, because that's what it's going to head to it again. Philly, San Francisco, just where is it going to be? Is it going to be in Philly or San Francisco?
Yeah, I said this was my NFC Championship preview. I said rematch Eagles 49ers. I took the 49ers to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco had a bit of a stumble. They had that 3-game losing streak, but they definitely got things
Trent Williams
around.
plays, baby, they're undefeated. When Trent,
I mean, it helps when you have your top guys. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's almost going to come down to like who has the more healthier players or the more healthier stars on their team, because everybody's dealing with injuries, especially this time of year. But San Francisco, man, they look legit, bro. That was a complete ass whooping there, bro.
I'll save my last comment because the guy that I want to talk about is coming up from me, so I'll say
that's the last game.
I know that, but there's 2 awards that we give out at the end of the show.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go ahead. We'll give out our. We'll go ahead and we'll start with our turds of the week. Johnny, who's your turd of the week?
I'm going to Houston for the Denver Broncos Texans game. Russell Wilson is my turd of the week. I said it earlier. They had a really good opportunity to kind of grab a hold of one of these playoff spots. They had a nice 5-game win streak. You go into Houston against a very young team that didn't play as well as they're capable of playing, or they had been playing. Their stud rookie wide receiver gets hurt, and you throw not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions including one in the end zone towards the end of the game where you had an opportunity to go up in that game. Russ was not clutch in this game at all. Horrible performance, in my opinion, by saying the whole offense, to be quite honest. But Russ was just a turnover machine today. He cost his team the game. So Russell Wilson is my turd of the week for this week.
Scott?
My turd of the week is the Tennessee Titans special teams. You get your punter injured with a broken leg. The second punt, 2 punts in a row they blocked, Indianapolis. The second punt, the gunner took 3 steps in, rushed the punter, and basically took the ball off the punter when he dropped it. The guy almost grabbed it and ran in for a touchdown. Tennessee Titans special teams cost them big time today. They cost them in a spot where if they won that game, you could start talking about playoffs wild card with the Titans because they'd be in the mix. But after today's performance, and I'm sure Sam will mention it tomorrow night on the LTS show, their special teams lost them the game today and cost them. So my turd of the week is the Tennessee Titans special teams.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So my turd of the week is the fucking New York Jets offense. I mean, Jesus. We said it. You've only scored 1 touchdown in the first quarter all year. We are not in just like week 4, week 3, week 2. Like we are in week 13, and you have 1 touchdown, and your defense has gotten 2 safeties this year. They've gotten more safeties than touchdowns. So the New York Jets offense, whether it's what's his name, Nathaniel Hackett, is Aaron Rodgers the only guy that can run his offense because it sure fucking seems like it, or is it Bob Saleh? You can give it to him credit because I don't know. We all knew that Boyle was not an NFL quality quarterback, but they still ran him out there. But Jesus, the New York Jets offense is my week 13 turd of the week.
Listen, the quickest game in NFL history could be week 18. The Jets are at the Patriots. That game could be over an hour and a half.
That could be another safety for the Jets, and they win 2-0.
2-0, yep.
Oh man.
Hey,
you
let's
can't
get
blame
into
Ron Rivera for today, Alan. You can't blame him for today. Miami was just too good on offense.
Hey, good. Hey, they did fire their. He's supposed to be coaching the defense now, so you can blame him.
Well, if that's the case, then yeah, you could blame him.
They fired Jack Del Rio, and Ron was going to call the defense. That worked real great.
Hey, Ron, go play man-to-man and some more against Tyreek.
Yeah.
We'll leave our corner on an island, like you said.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Scott, we'll go back to you. Who's your dog of the week here?
So this is why I was saving my comment. After the NFC Championship game last year, Deebo Samuel was the main guy to pop off, saying that if we had our quarterback, we'd win. Today, Deebo Samuel backed up his talk. He went out and he balled out. 4 catches, 116 yards. He was a beast everywhere. He could have been the best player on the field for the 49ers today. It was highly possible. Deebo is a superstar. 2 years ago, they all said, going from 2 years ago on, that it's because he runs. That's why he's such an effective player. He's showing this year he can catch the ball and not run and be just as effective. So my dog of the week is Deebo Samuel.
Johnny?
I was gonna take his running mate in Brock Purdy with the 19 to 27, 314 and 4 touchdowns, but I'm gonna leave San Francisco alone since Scott touched on him there. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Nico Collins. 9 catches, 191 yards, and a touchdown. A big win for the Houston Texans at home against the turd of the week, Russell Wilson, and those Denver Broncos. So shout out to the Houston Texans. Shout out to the Just Fans podcast guys. Nico Collins, 9 for 191 and a big touchdown there. Houston Texans are in the playoff mix. So Nico Collins is my dog of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Scott's game, and that's the 49ers and the Eagles. And the guy who got hurt in that NFC Championship game in like 3 plays in, he played the whole game today. And that name is Brock fucking Purdy, folks. Is my NFL Week 13 dog of the week. 19 of 27, 314 yards. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns. The man was a magician out there. I remember at the beginning of the year, there was people on the old Twitter X, they should start Trey Lance. Brock Purdy's not that good. He can't throw the deep ball. Well, that's all whole fucking bullshit because Brock Purdy could even be MVP if you want to give him the damn trophy. But we're giving him NFL Week 13 Dog of the Week, baby.
Well deserved.
The NFL recap show is brought to you by Ted Talks Ball. Everybody, Mr. Trey Lance himself, and I'm not, on Ted, but you have a quarterback in Brock Purdy. You had a quarterback all along.
Yeah. You got a good squad there. Not for nothing, but honorable mention. Shout out to Mr. Mike Evans. We talked about it. 10 years straight of 1,000 yards. He had 7 for 162 and a touchdown today in Tampa's win against the Panthers. I'm not even gonna say a big win because that was just a garbage game. They should have stomped them out. But Mike Evans, shout out to Mike Evans. There were a few dogs, but
Gardner Minshew. Gardner.
That's a good one there too. 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions for Gardner. There were a few dogs, but I like the 3 that we went with, man.
Yeah.
Mike Evans better be dog of the week. I have him on every fantasy team I could possibly think of. So,
he's a stud, bro.
Debo balled out. I mean, that whole 49ers team absolutely just,
they dominated them, bro. Yeah, they dominated them, bro.
After that first quarter, it was like, okay, we gave you all an opportunity.
Right, right.
Well, that's it. Philly went down in the first quarter, kicked 2 field goals instead of 2 touchdowns. Right. That's the difference.
Yeah.
San Francisco was like, okay, Philly, you do what you want in the first quarter. Whatever you do, wait till you see what we do. So, excuse me, Carlos?
Nobody's putting Brock Purdy in the hall. I did see this question on Twitter, too. I'm going to need to see him play.
I hear that. I hear that. But his kid's playing well. You got to give him his credit. You got to give him his credit. He's making plays.
And I saw the question on Twitter. Somebody said, "Is Brock Purdy a Hall of Famer?" I really wanted to comment and be like, "So you're just out here, we're just asking dumb shit here on Twitter, huh? Is that what we're doing today? Just dumb shit, like
right." And the other thing is, everybody needs to slow down on this Brock Purdy for MVP stuff.
I think he could be. I mean, there's no real runaway. My pick, if I voted, and obviously I don't because nobody gives a shit about my goddamn opinion, is Tyreek Hill. If they gave me a vote, and I would vote for Tyreek.
I mean, and honestly, in a year where there's no like quarterback that's just going absolutely nuts,
nobody's running away with
that, right? Yeah. Why not a wide receiver that made a break for 2,000 yards today?
If Jalen Hurts would have balled out,
he would have had his name in there. Right.
Last week I was kind of leaning, but
Purdy had that stretch where he didn't play well those 3 games. You know what I'm saying? So each player that's in the conversation has had a little bit of a bad stretch. I mean, Tyreek Hill seems to be the one that's been the most consistent. Jalen Hurts up until this game, you know what I'm saying, has been putting on the show. So there's still a few more games left for people to throw their names out there, but I don't know about Brock Purdy for MVP, but the kid is playing really good football right now, man. He's doing exactly what they need him to do. And then some. So I don't want to make it sound like he's just a game manager because he's making some plays.
But this is the year a non-quarterback can win MVP because there's no dominating quarterback right now.
Nobody's running away with it. And if it's going to be a non-QB, then it's got to be, to me,
Tyreek McCaffrey.
He just affects the game so much that, you know what I'm saying, like, everybody needs to know where, everybody on the defense needs to know where 10 is. You know what I'm saying? Even if the coach doesn't realize that you got to put more than one guy on them. But, you know what I'm saying? Those other 10 guys, they know where Tyreek Hill is.
But I will say this, Tyreek's got to get to 2,000 yards, I think. He has to get to 2,000 yards. So he's about 700 to 800 yards short of it. There's 5 games left. He needs to pick it up a little bit.
100. No, I mean that's he needs about 100.
I think he can get it. Yeah, I think he can get it at 4, bro. We got Tennessee. We got Tennessee coming up.
Yeah,
We got
which they can throw on.
We got the
completely.
Jets, who they
Yeah.
have a good defense, but we can still put numbers up on them. Then
Yeah.
you got Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo. I mean, if Tyree can go crazy these next 2 weeks, he may be able to get that 2,000 before the last game of the season, which, you know what I'm saying, so that there's no talk of, he had an extra game or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
I think
that'd
if
be
he
nice.
balls out against Dallas and Baltimore, I think he'll clinch it. Because those are the two biggest games of the year for them. And if they win both games, and it's because of Tyreek, who goes for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns, you got to give it to him. There's no denying it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I get what Carlos is saying there about the everybody worried about the offense. Yeah, that defense got bulked up with Chase Young, but Philly was moving the ball on them. You know what I'm saying? Philly had opportunities. You know what I'm saying? They just couldn't come through, you know what I'm saying, like they needed to. And when you have the pressure of the San Francisco offense just going down the field and scoring over and over and over and over again, you have no margin for error on the other side of the ball. And that's how it just got completely out of hand there.
Yeah.
And Alan, I don't agree with you. The favorite is still Hurts. After today, it's not Hurts.
I would put Purdy over Hurts after today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Hurts anymore. Hurts was the favorite going into this week.
I mean, and
he's not the favorite.
like again, he had time in the pocket. I mean, there was times where he just held on to the ball forever. And it's like, bro, if you're not gonna run, just throw the ball away. So he took some really bad sacks in the game. And like again, San Francisco just went over there, punched him right in the face, and then kept swinging on him. They pulled a Ralphie from Christmas Story and just kept, you know what I'm saying, just unloaded on the redheaded stepchild. For real, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still got 5 weeks left, 6 weeks left. So I mean, a lot's going to be decided.
This season has been so much fun, man.
I mean, we want to hate on Allen for being a homer here, but he's all right. Dak, I mean, I know Dak is what he is, but he's actually you look at Dak's numbers, he's played really fucking good here lately. So
he's not making a lot of mistakes either.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Dallas is another one. They're handling their business. They're doing what they got to do. Big matchup against Philly coming up, where they can quiet a lot of people there, and Philly can find themselves from the number 1 seed to 3, or possibly not. You know what I'm saying? Not even winning the division if Dallas can beat them next week.
I think Dallas beats Philly next week, because what did Philly show today? They can't stop the pass. That's Dallas.
I would still take Philly. God damn it.
It's at Dallas. The game's at Dallas. So that gives Dallas a little bit of extra advantage. If they win that game, they're the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Dallas?
Yeah.
No,
San Francisco still be.
San Francisco would be.
San Francisco,
Dallas is the number 2.
Didn't San Francisco stomp out Dallas too?
They did. I forgot about that.
Remember, they beat Dallas and they lost 3 games in a row. It was like, what the hell happened?
Does San Francisco play Kansas City this year?
No.
No.
They
no. I was gonna say, because if they stomp out Philly, Dallas, and then somehow stomp out Kansas City, oof, San Francisco's saying something,
I don't think San Francisco's going to lose a game the rest of the season. I think they're going to win every game they play now.
Let's look at their schedule before we get out of here.
We need to look at that schedule before we bounce. Yeah.
They play Seattle next week. They should beat Seattle at San Francisco.
Yeah.
They'll beat Seattle. Yeah.
So 49ers remaining schedules pretty favorable. They got Seattle, game that they should win. Cardinals, they should win. Circle this matchup. Good Monday night game here in 2 weeks, I guess. On the Christmas Eve. On Christmas, yeah. On Christmas. Ravens 49ers on Christmas.
At San Francisco?
At San Francisco.
They should win that game. I think they'll win that game.
Then we got 49ers, Commanders.
They'll win that one.
And then they got the Rams.
So the Ravens are really the only one that I would.
Well, the Ravens, and then let's see what happens with the Rams. It's a divisional game. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I would say San Francisco is probably favored in all of those.
Yeah,
but San Francisco
with the Baltimore one being at home.
But Johnny, don't you think San Francisco will be playing for the number 1 seed, that Rams game?
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't think they're resting anybody. I think they'll go full bore. So yeah, they might not lose a game the rest of the year.
It's going to be interesting going down the stretch.
Interesting. Yeah.
San Francisco, Miami Super Bowl.
I'll take it. That way, that way the Dolphins can make up for 84. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Although Nick's Packers will have a lot to say about that because they'll get in the play. So.
Nick is stressing his Packers just holding out in this game tonight.
I picked the Chiefs to win this game.
He did. Yeah.
But we know what you really want.
Oh, of course. What I want and what I think is two different things. You know what I mean?
If the Packers
the motherfucker! Yes!
If the Packers win this game tonight, he'll pick the Packers the rest of the year. He won't deviate from them.
I might keep picking against them, Scott. We're winning when I did pick him. I did pick him to beat the Lions.
Yeah, you're right.
Was he down? Oh, he was down. God damn it. Oh, we probably need to get off the air before we get.
You should call Tanner now and see how.
Oh no, they said we got it. No, they scored it. Scored a touch. Oh, flag on the play.
You should call Tanner now and see how he's doing.
Oh, he won't be able to hear me. We won't be able to hear him.
Yeah, he ain't able to hear him, bro.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the game before we get canceled. Before I get canceled, somebody's gonna try to pick us up one day. Like, I watched the last 30 seconds of this show once when he was watching the Packers. This guy was saying, "God damn it" and "fucker."
Did AJ Dillon get hurt? He must have got hurt.
He's on a milk carton. Touchdown, damn it.
Yeah, Pacheco.
They're gonna probably go for 2 here and tie it up, huh?
Yeah. Kansas City.
Nick will be after the show. Nick will be watching the Packers, just shut all the lights off and be in the dark.
All right. Well, before we dip, I'll be back in about an hour and a half or so to finish off this game here with my boy Alan. Again, Rob ain't gonna be able to be with us on the late game roundup show, so it'll be me and Alan holding it down. Where we hopefully discuss a Green Bay victory here, but it's getting awfully tight now for the Packers in Kansas City. But it seems like a fun game, so we'll see what happens down the stretch here. But yeah, me and Alan will be up for that show, and then tomorrow, Aqua and Orange Insights, me and Alex will recap the ass whooping that the Dolphins put on the Washington Redskins. Excuse me, Commanders. Apologies, everybody. But yeah, they beat down the Commanders, so it's gonna be a fun day tomorrow, and then of course the LTS show tomorrow night. So looking forward to it, man. Another fun show, man. Another good day of football. And we're ending it up with a good game on tonight.
Yeah, tomorrow it's not a good game though. It's like the Bengals and somebody.
Yeah, Bengals Jaguars.
I need the Jaguars to win to cash my outlay. So come on, Jacksonville.
All right, let's Carlos says better get that NACO ready. Scott, you got any last final thoughts here?
No, looking forward to tomorrow night's show. We get to talk to Jim and Jonathan about college football, and Jonathan will have his Jaden Daniels jersey on, I'm sure, tomorrow night. So I'm thinking he's going to win the Heisman. But LTS show tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Looking forward to it. So tune in.
Yeah, we'll be back again, like the guy said. It's been another great episode of the BodkinShow Show. I always appreciate you guys joining me every Sunday night. I love these shows. It's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. And then we'll be back tomorrow night with the rest of the gang. No Tanner tomorrow night, so it'll just be Sam joining us again with Jonathan, Jim. Can't wait to talk with Jim. A lot of hockey news. I think Jim's a little touchy. Remind me not to talk about the Connor Bernard situation where somebody's fucking his mom and getting cut from the team. I was kind of texting him about that. And he seemed a little touchy about it.
Oh, my.
He said, absolutely not true. I said, Jim, I'm just asking questions here. So I don't know if I should ask him that on the air. You know me, I probably will. So we'll ask him about that situation.
And that right there is why you subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on those notifications.
By the way, me, Sam, and Johnny will be off the air on the stop cam when you ask them about this Connor Bedard stuff. So it'll be you and Jim.
You guys haven't heard that? You haven't heard that?
No, I heard a little bit of it today. So
yeah. So I asked Jim about it the other day, and Jim was a little touchy about it. He didn't.
Is it because you and Daniel think the Blackhawks are in a 10-year rebuilding cycle again? Is this why you asked them?
Oh no, I just heard about it. I don't really follow hockey like you do or Jim. I don't know a few people that really follow hockey like Jim does, and so I was just I knew the Blackhawks player got cut from the team, and Buddy had messaged me and said, "Hey, did you guys hear about this Blackhawks player cut from the team? He's sleeping with Connor Bernard's mom." I was like, holy shit. No, I didn't hear that. So I asked Jim, I said, hey, Jim, is this true? This guy's fucking Connor Bernard's mom. He's fucking the kid's mom. That's why they cut him. And Jim was like, absolutely not. No, there's no truth to that whatsoever. And so I was like, are you sure, Jim? Like, he's like, no, this and this. I was like,
oh my God.
Jim letting the truth mess up a good story.
Yeah. I said, Jim, now you gotta, you know what I mean? What, and of course, it was in a group chat with Tanner, and Tanner's like, this is what Nick does. He takes something and he's gonna run with it. So I was like, hey, to me, that sounds way better story than whatever really happened. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So,
it does. Yeah,
you know
I agree.
what I mean? I don't care what really happened. I mean, Jim did say something really kind of something semi-serious with employee of like Columbus Blue Jackets or something. I don't really know. So we'll get that story tomorrow. But
okay.
I mean, sleeping with his teammate's mom is a way better story. So
no doubt. Because Zach Wilson's done it with every player's mom on that team. So
yeah, right. So I mean, I was sign me up for that.
Nice.
You know me. Hey, if it comes with scandal and sex, sign me up. I'm all in. So.
Oh,
I was ready. So we'll ask Jim about that tomorrow, and Jonathan, we'll talk a little college football. Word is hopefully. Hey, there's Dylan right there. You got it, ran for catching about 15 yards, Scott.
Oh, that's good. I need more of those. Come on, AJ, let's go. I need more of those.
So yeah, that's and then we'll ask. Otani's supposed to sign with the team. Hopefully, sometime this weekend. I will come on live on air, and you'll see my live reaction if Otani comes to the Cubs. So,
winter meetings start tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll break all that down tomorrow with all the guys, and 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern tomorrow night. So, be a friend, tell a friend. Let's keep our fingers and toes crossed that Green Bay pulls this miracle out. So, we'll see you then, folks. I'm gonna hit that outro. See ya.
Bye.
Oh, I hit the wrong button.